Hi guys, how are you doing today? Have you missed some drama? Well, buckle up, as I have some good ones. Today's first story is about OP's ex-wife, who left OP because she wanted to have fun with other people. But now when she's struggling financially, she demands OP let her stay with him. Well, things would be simple if not for OP's daughter, who is furious at OP that he doesn't want to help her mother. So guys, do you think that we are obligated to help our exes, especially when they weren't very honest in our relationship? Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Don't want to get too far into the relationship aspect, so I'll bullet point it. Started dating Kara at 16, married at 22. Me, Kara, both 36. Daughter came when we were 23. When our daughter was 6, Kara came to me asking for an open relationship. She said that she had gotten bored and wasn't sure on her forever person. I told her that wouldn't be happening. She said she wanted a divorce then. We went through that whole process and we ended up splitting custody. I later learned that she had been talking to other guys before we ever had our talk. So, safe to say, I'm not a huge fan of her anymore. We have no contact outside of pickup times. I typically don't ask my daughter questions about my ex, unless it's of vital importance. I did notice about 5 months ago that Kara had changed pickup locations to an apartment complex. I asked my daughter what happened, as I knew Kara had remarried 4-ish years ago. My daughter told me that the guy kicked her and her mom out after they divorced. I asked what happened, and my daughter told me that her mom found out she was infertile, and the dude divorced her on the spot. I wasn't too worried about the situation, as my daughter appeared fine emotionally. Took her to therapy to make sure, and she wasn't complaining about the apartment. So last week, my ex showed up at my door asking if she could talk to me. She said she had no money after her apartment raised rent. She was struggling to provide for our daughter, and her ex took a lot of her money in the divorce. She was probably going to get evicted at the end of the month. She asked if she could live with me for a few months till she could save up for a place. I told her absolutely not, and that I'd probably go back to the court and seek a custody alteration, because I'm not going to have my daughter in an unstable environment. My ex told me that won't happen, and she'll fight that in court. I told her she didn't have the money for rent, let alone a lawyer. So maybe she shouldn't fight it, and instead work on finding somewhere to live. So my daughter has learned about the situation. I was speaking on the phone to my parents about it, and I think she overheard me. She's furious at me, saying that we have plenty of space. I have a 5-bedroom house with an in-law suite in the basement. It's a walkout and has a full kitchen, so my daughter thinks it's cruel I won't let her mom stay in the basement for a few months, when we hardly go down there. I told her that wouldn't be happening, as her mother made her own decisions, and it's not my responsibility. Also, I didn't say this to my daughter. I've become an attractive option to divorced women. Pool definitely helps. So I don't want my ex-wife living here because it could look bad to some of the women I hang out with. Kara texted me and offered to pay for utilities and do chores if that would change my mind. My daughter really wants me to help, but I don't feel like it. And I frankly don't really want to help this woman. I like my house situation the way it is. Am I the a-hole? I don't think OP is in the wrong here, but if OP doesn't want to permanently damage his relationship with his daughter, I would suggest going to a family therapist to work it out with her in a structured setting. She's 13, if I did the math correctly, and this is an impactful time in her life. If not handled properly, she could resent OP for the rest of her life. But I don't think that OP should let his ex move in. Let's see if the community agrees with me. Make up for Barney says, not the a-hole for not letting your ex live with you. People saying you're the a-hole for this can't conceive of the problems with this. Don't let her move in. However, you're the a-hole for putting your daughter in the middle of this. Don't quiz her about your ex. She's now playing you because you established this possibility by pumping her for info. Desperate Ad says, not the a-hole, but think of helping ex out for your daughter's sake. Not by letting her move in, but maybe a loan or a gift of money to help her get back on her feet. Once your daughter is 18, wash your hands of it, but consider it while your daughter is young. Rocks Those Socks says, not the a-hole regarding the core issue. You literally don't have to let her live with you. By the way, you can't give her a loan, only a gift. You will never see the money again. I encourage you to show kindness in dealing with this situation for your daughter's sake, but you do not have to help her. I, 58 male, and my wife, 59 female, have only one daughter, 30 female. We always wished we could have more kids, but due to medical complications that I won't go into, we only had our girl. Because of that, we've always dreamed of being grandparents. So we made long-term investments that paid off, and now we have almost $350,000 saved up to help raise our future grandkids and cover their college expenses. I want to make it clear that we never pressured our daughter to have children in any way. She simply knows that the money is there and what it's intended for. I'll explain why this is relevant later on. The thing is, our daughter recently made the decision not to have kids. She told us a few months ago and even had a tubal ligation soon after. We were both a bit shocked and asked if she was sure, but we also reassured her that we'll always be there for her. I won't lie, I'm really disappointed, but not in our daughter. It's her life and it's not our place to impose anything on her. My disappointment stems from the fact that I won't have grandkids. However, if this is what makes her happy, I have no right to say anything about it. Last week, we had a lunch at our house with our daughter, and she brought up the topic of the money we had saved for our future grandkids. We simply told her that we will make use of it differently now. For example, I'll be able to work fewer hours before retirement, and we plan to use the money for travel. At that moment, our daughter's expression changed, and she fell silent. When my wife asked if she was okay, she suddenly exploded, accusing us of punishing her for not having kids and taking away the money that she would have used if she had children. The situation became really tense, and she stormed out after the argument. Now she's not speaking to us and has posted about it on social media. We've also received some unpleasant messages from our daughter's friends, expressing their disapproval of our actions. Let me be clear, we haven't disowned her. She will still receive whatever money or properties we have when we pass away. However, we saved that money specifically to support our future grandkids, and now that we know we won't have any, we decided to use it for our own purposes. Is that wrong? Am I the a-hole? In my opinion, OP is not in the wrong here. That money was never meant for her. It would have gone directly for things for the grandchildren to improve their lives. Also, airing her grievances publicly and getting her friends to send nasty messages to OP is a really low thing to do, and the sign of a not very nice person. And now let's see what the community thinks about the situation. Mediocre person says, "It's her fertility and choice to have children. She made her choice. It's your money and your choice how to spend it. You made your choice. Blasting you online sounds like emotional manipulation to get her way. Not the a-hole, but she is." Tasty Glue Cake says, "Not the a-hole by a long shot. That money had a specific purpose, to ensure your grandchildren had the same educational opportunities that your daughter had. It was never going to be her money. It was going from your account to a university. Her life, her body, her decision. You should continue to stay out, as you have. Your life, your money, your decision. She needs to show the same respect. The fact she's posting about it online tells me she has a whole lot of growing up to do, and just reinforces that she does not deserve a $350,000 windfall." Bam F 1701 says, "Not the a-hole. I'm like your daughter. I chose to not have kids either. Yet I never demanded from my mother that she give me the same money she put away into college accounts for my nieces. Because to be childless was my choice, and it was her money. This is your money, and using it for your retirement is your right. Your daughter is not entitled to it, and she should not have assumed that she would get it, especially without talking to you first." I, 36 male, have 3 kids, 14 male, 14 female, 12 male, with my ex-wife. My wife and I divorced about 2 years ago because I had an affair. Don't need to tell me I'm a trash human on this, I already know. So as she found out, we fell apart and I moved out to an apartment with split custody, and everything worked out for about a year. 1 week with me, 1 week with her. I didn't introduce them to my new partner immediately because I know this would be stressful for them, so my partner wouldn't be around when my kids were at my house. After a year and a half of our divorce, I decided to let them meet my partner, 35 male. Everything changed from that moment. Apparently, their mom told them that he was the homewrecker, so they refused to come and see me by their means. Then I forced them to come the first 4 weeks after they met my partner. Not a great idea, because that was the custody agreement. We get to have them 50-50. My partner wasn't around when my kids were at home. This was my decision. They called me one day and said they wanted to change the custody agreement and only wanted to see me on weekends. I was hurt, but agreed, because I know that forcing them wasn't a great idea. So the first 3 weekends worked really well, until I told them that my boyfriend was moving in with me. They went mad and told me that they didn't want to see me again. Since then, I've been going to their mom's house to see if they wanted to come with me, but they just declined every time. So I went on 219 as usual to try. They haven't been in my house not a single time in the last 3 months because they refuse, but again declined. So I let them know that I wouldn't try again to take them home. I also told them that if they need time to heal, I'll understand because I know that I hurt them. I apologized and let them know that I wasn't going to try the next weekend, but if they ever want me to be their dad again, and whenever they want to come to me, I'll be here for them anytime, any problem, any occasion, etc. I let my ex-wife know that I'll keep paying child support, and I'll be there for school events, sport events, birthday parties, Christmas, etc., if they allow me to. But I wouldn't attempt to get custody back unless they ask me to. My ex called me the a-hole for giving up so easily and not trying harder. They started crying and stated that I was a jerk for not wanting them in my life. Then I asked them if they wanted to come with me, but said no, we don't want to see you again. This last weekend was the first one I didn't go try by myself, since they first refused in January. They called me and asked, "Have you forgotten you have kids?" I went to try again, but they didn't get in the car. I've gone to their school to pick them up, but they refuse over and over again. So I decided that I'd not try again. My ex keeps calling me the a-hole for giving them up. They've talked to my mom, and my mom says they are so sad their dad can just easily give them up, and also called me the a-hole. So am I the a-hole here? I mean, kids obviously want a relationship with OP, but not his partner. I don't understand. Who does he love more, his partner or his kids? I think OP is in the wrong here for choosing his boyfriend living with him, knowing his kids wouldn't have been cool with it. Let's see what the community thinks about it. Surrealism55 says, "You're the a-hole. Kids are greater than love life. You cheated on your wife and left her for the guy you cheated with. Now you can't figure out how to make it work for your kids. Literally all of this is on you, so you'll have to take the hits and make it work somehow. You don't get to give up on your kids." Open Possibilities 723 says, "You're the a-hole. First of all, after the kids got upset meeting your new spouse, you switched custody to weekends only. Then you moved the new spouse in. You're the a-hole and basically did give up on your kids. At least you chose your new spouse over them, minimum." Wow. Black Sky 83 says, "This is going to be a wildly unpopular opinion, but you are obviously trying. They refuse to work with you, with good reason. They are probably still angry. What else is there to do? You are also not a robot, you have feelings, and I imagine being rejected again and again can't be easy. Yes, you are the adult, but that doesn't make you immune to their behavior. Not the a-hole." Here's some background context before I, 20, go further. My father, 48, was never present in my early life, as he and my mother divorced when I was very young, and he moved 6 hours away for work. But eventually we rekindled and were on good terms in my mid-teens. Once I graduated, my father asked if I would like to come live with him, my stepmother, 28, and my older sister, 24, to make up for the fact that I never really had the chance to see him growing up. I was hesitant as I had landed a very high-paying job straight out of school and was also planning on moving in with a few friends. My older sister had been living with them since she was 19 and said she'd like to have me around. So I caved, and just after my 19th birthday, I quit my job, canceled my plans to move away with my friends, and packed all my stuff into my car. To be honest, it was great living with him, but I struggled settling into the new town, making friends, getting a job, etc. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago, and I found a job, have made friends, and am dirt poor because I've spent all my money on a trip to Spain with said friends. 4 days before I leave, my sister suddenly moves out as one of her friend's roommates moved away, so she very quickly, in the space of a few days, moved in with her friend. All good. I go on my trip for 2 weeks and come back 3 days ago as of writing this post. The first day I was back, my father and stepmother were very nice and welcoming, picking me up from the airport, asking how it all went, wanting to see pictures, but after having dinner, they said they wanted to talk to me about something serious. They sat me down and explained that while they really liked having me around, they loved having their own space and house to themselves more, and that they wanted me out in 3 weeks. They said they'd help me move my stuff and that I'd always be allowed to stop by. I was shocked and very hurt. I brought up that they wanted me to move in with them and that my older sister had been living with them for the last 4 to 5 years. We went back and forth for about an hour arguing until I reached a boiling point. I just started shouting and told them how hurt I was, how it was BS that I moved away from home and lost a great job and opportunity just for this. My stepmother said that I was too old to be living with them anyways, and that I was acting like a leech. I pay them rent and buy my own food, and so I told her that was ironic coming from a gold digger. After that, they told me to pack my things and leave, and that I wasn't welcome back, which I did. I'm now staying with my sister until I can find somewhere to stay. They haven't talked to me since, and my sister agrees that it was messed up for them to do. I get you eventually have to move out of home, but inviting me to live with you when I'm doing well and then kicking me out when I'm broke feels like a betrayal to me. So, am I the a-hole for how I reacted? Edit. Sorry I wasn't clear. I've lived with them for a year. They didn't kick me out as soon as I moved in. I think OP has every right to be really angry and really disappointed with them. OP's father shouldn't have convinced OP to quit a good-paying job to move in with him. He was selfish. And after a year, ask OP to move after OP had an expensive trip. So I think OP is the one with fair reasons to not speak to them. Let's see what the community thinks about the situation. Cool Ranch Baby says, not the a-hole. They told you they wanted you to come live with them, so you quit your job to do so, and then told you that actually they don't want you to live there the day you got there. That's super messed up. If they can't see that, there's some huge cognitive dissonance going on in their heads. Edited to say, I see now it's a year later. Still not the a-hole. You quit your job and uprooted your life at their request. Mammoth Neat says, not the a-hole. Sounds like maybe your dad wanted you there, but stepmom got into his head while you were away. Just go back to no contact. They clearly bring no value to your life, and you're better off without their BS. IC Department says, not the a-hole. They are terrible people. Is there any chance of getting the old job offer rekindled? It won't hurt to try. If not, find another job, preferably where you lived with your mom. See if you can move back home. Save money so that you always have contingency money.